Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So student, in the previous class we had completed with the chapter of some natural phenomena where we have seen the dispersion of light, we have understood the scattering of light and the applications of the scattering in the daily life. And as well as we have seen that why there are some phenomena which occur around us on the basis of the refraction, that will include the twinkling of stars, that will include the sunset and sunrise, why it appears early, and as well as why our sky appears blue, why in space the color of the sky is black, why the rainbow is having the seven, how the rainbow occurs, students, and as well as we have understood that why during sunset or sunrise the cloud it appears red. So these all are the things that we had understood with the help of the refraction of the light, with the help of the chapter that is some natural phenomena. Now let us start with a new chapter of chemistry, that is the third chapter of the chemistry, metals and non-metals. Although we are very much known about some of the properties that we had studied in the lower classes also, but about the lower classes, about that of the metal and non-metal, student, even the properties, here we will study more about the bonding. We will understood that how the metals are extracted. Also we will study in detail about the physical and the chemical properties, especially the chemical properties of the metals. So without wasting time, let us start with the metal and non-metal. So talking about the metals and non-metal, student, we know that we are very well know about the elements. And elements, there are 118 elements which are known to us, and out of which the 94 which occur in nature naturally, while the 24 they are called as the synthetic elements. Okay, so we can say here that the elements like that of oxygen is there or nitrogen is there. These are what? These all are the hydrogen, helium. These all are the elements which basically present in the atmosphere, which is a naturally occurring elements. But plutonium, promadium, these are what? These are the synthetic element. These are prepared element. Okay. Out of which, students, carbon is also considered to be a natural non-metal. Okay, but it is a natural element. Now, on the basis of the properties, we had also classified the elements into the metal and non-metal. Metals are also element, non-metals are also element, but yes, they differ from each other on the basis of their properties, and thus we had categorized, we have classified them into metals and non-metals. So we will start with the first one, and that is metals. Okay, so I can write here one thing which is important, that elements are classified into metals and non-metals. These are classified into metals and non-metals. How many elements are there? About 118 elements are present. They are in the periodic table, students, and we'll start with the first one, and that is metals. What are metals? So generally metals, these are the elements which are having some of the specific property which is common in them and that differ from the other kind of elements. Like talking about the metals, so there are the elements which are hard, which are showing the malleability, which shows the ductility, which shows the electrical conductivity, which shows the thermal conductivity, and having these properties makes these elements to come into a one category, and that category is the metal. It means the element which shows all these properties, they will be included into the metals. So a lot of elements which is considered to be metals, they are iron, copper, aluminium, silver, gold. These all are the examples. are examples of the metals. Now let us start to understand the properties of the metal, students. Properties of metals. The first property is the physical state. Physical state at room temperature. Metals generally they are hard. They are solids. Okay, except there are exceptions, students. All the metals does not show the same kind of a property, although because of other property we used to categorize them into the metal. But yes, metals they are generally solid at room temperature. Actually all the metals are except mercury, which is considered to be liquid. Okay, so we can say here that metals are generally solid at room temperature except mercury, which is liquid. Okay, which remains in the liquid state. The second physical property, it is luster. Luster. So all the metals they are generally lustrous, student. Lustrous it means they are having shining surface. So metals are generally lustrous. It means they are having the shiny surface. All of the metals they are having the reflecting surface, and we will consider them as a lustrous substance or lustrous material. So metals they are generally lustrous. This is the another property of the metals. Now the next property is malleability. Malleability as well as ductility. What is malleability, students? Malleability is actually, it is a property which is shown by a substance that when we heat when we beat the metals, then it can be drawn into thin sheets. It can be converted into thin sheets, and that is why that property is called as a malleability, and thus we can say that metals are generally malleable. It means they can be beaten into thin sheets. So metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Are beaten into thin sheets. Gold and silver, iron and okay. So we can say here that the gold and silver shows the property of malleability. Shows the property of malleability. Okay, so this is a kind of a property which is shown by that of the metal. The another kind of a property shown by it is what? That is ductility. In case of a ductility, what happened? See, in case of a malleability, we have seen that when we stretch it or when we beat it, it can be drawn into thin sheet. While in case of a malleability, while we can draw thin wires from these metals. So this is a property in which metals can be drawn into thin wires. You see all the different kind of wires like copper, aluminium, gold, silver. These all wires, these all are what? They are the metals only. It means they are having the properties that they can be drawn into thin wires, and thus we can say that metals are what? They are ductile. Okay. So the next property is ductility. Ductility in which the metals can be drawn into thin wires. It can be drawn into thin wires. Talking about 1 gram of a gold, so 1 gram of a gold, they are so highly ductile that they can be drawn into 2 kilometer long. If you see 1 gram of a silver, they can be drawn into wires that is 2 meter long. So you can understand by this that the metal can be easily drawn into thin wires, and thus they show the property of a ductility. Okay, now because of the property of a malleability, or because they are highly ductile, they can be drawn into different shapes. They can be drawn into different shapes according to the need. Okay, it can be drawn into thin sheet, it can be drawn into thin wires, and because of this property, they can be given easily the different shapes also, students. The next property which is shown by the metals, and that is hardness. They show another property called as hardness. Hardness. So metals, they are generally hard, and the hardness, it also depend upon the strength of the metallic bonding. The bonding that we will discuss later in the same chapter, student. But yes, higher will be the bonding, metallic bonding will be there. The strength of the metal will be high also. Okay, so generally all metals are what? They are hard. They are having a strong metallic bond, and they cannot be broken. They cannot be cut with the help of the knife. But there are exception also. Exception like mercury, it is a liquid state, so they are not hard at all. Talking about the two metal like sodium and potassium, although they exist in a solid state, but yes, they are very soft metal. They are even this much soft that they can be cut into 2 pieces or more than that with the help of a knife. Okay, so there are metals which are quite soft, and the softness of the metal that they can be cut into with the help of the knife, it is because of the weakening of the bond. The metallic bond is very weak, and thus they can be cut into cut into different pieces. So we can write here that metals are generally hard. Hardness is because of the metallic bonding. Exception: sodium and potassium. And the reason is potassium, weak metallic bonding. Okay, so metals are generally hard, they are having metallic bonding in it, but yes, the bonding is weak in case of the soft metal. The next property is density. Density. Generally, metals are what? They are having high density. Exceptions are students there, like sodium and potassium, they are considered to having the low density, while iridium, osmium, these are having the highest density. So since the number of particles are more in it, so obviously we can say they are heavy elements, or they are generally having the high density. So metals are having high density, and the highest density is of iridium and osmium. Iridium and osmium are having the highest density, while sodium and potassium is having low density. Okay, so density is what? It is also another kind of a physical property showed by the metals here, students. Moving on, and let us see the next property, and which is melting point and boiling point. Melting point and boiling point also varies with the metals. Generally, metals we have seen that they are hard, so obviously it is because of their metallic bonding. So melting and boiling point is what? Melting and boiling point is what it which here when we apply, means how much heat we must apply to it in order to break the bond, and only then we can change the state of the object. It change the state of the metal, or the change the state of an element. So obviously here it depends upon the metallic bonding. If the metallic bonding is very strong, so we have to provide more amount of a heat to it in order to melt it down. Okay, so let us see about the melting point and boiling point. So due to strong metallic bonding, metals generally have a high melting and boiling point. They are generally having the high melting and boiling point. And talking about the kind of the metal which is having the highest melting point, student, it is, we will say it is the tungsten. Tungsten is that metal which is having the highest melting point. Although there are lot of other metals like copper is there, which is having the high melting point, but tungsten is the highest. Now there are exception also, student, like that of a sodium and potassium is there, which is having the low melting point. And obviously the reason you know that since they are having very weak metallic bonding, so having low melting point. Okay, so this is another property of the metals, that is melting point and boiling point. Let us see the another one, that is thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. So first of all we will see the thermal conductivity. What is thermal conductivity? Obviously the term thermal, it means heat. So metals, they generally allow the heat to pass through them, and that is why we can say that they shows the thermal conductivity, or they are a good conductor of the heat. Okay, thermal conductivity. So we can say here metals are generally conductor of heat. They are generally good conductor of a heat, and silver is supposed to be the best conductor. Silver is best thermal conductor. Okay, best conductor of it is what? It is the best conductor of heat, while lead, it is the poorest conductor of heat. Lead is the poorest conductor. See students, we are knowing the general characteristic, the thing that we have to understand that which one is considered to be the best one or which one is the exception which do not show that particular property. While we are knowing that the metals, they are having, since they are having the ions, obviously they provide the good path for the heat to pass through it, so they shows the thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity is what? It is nothing but the conductivity of the heat. Now, the second kind of a property, student, that is similar to this, that is electrical conductivity, that whether the metals are good conductor of electricity or not. And we know that they allow the heat as well as electricity to electric current or electric charges to pass through them. Okay, so not only they are a good conductor of heat, but they are the good conductor of electricity also. So we can write here that they are the good conductor of electricity. Obviously, here also silver is considered to be the best conductor of the electricity. So again we can say here that silver is what? It is the best conductor of not only the heat, student, but obviously it is also a best conductor of electricity. Copper also and the other metals, they are also a very good conductor of electricity. Okay, but there are metals like that of bismuth is there or mercury is there. They are considered to be the poor conductor of electricity. So bismuth, mercury, bismuth and mercury is the poorest conductor of electricity. Okay, so it is the poor conductor of electricity. So we have understood here that metals are generally good conductor of heat as well as they are very good conductor of electricity also. Okay, although exceptions are there, there are some metals which are considered to be very good conductor and there are which considered to be very bad conductor. Okay, now the next property is that is sonority. Metals, they are generally sonorous. What is the meaning of a sonority here, student? It means that when we beat it with a hard object, when we struck it with a hard object, it produces sound. So most of the metals, they generally produces sound. Whenever they are okay, so they shows the property of a sonority. They are generally sonorous. Now because of the property of a sonority, because they are generally sonorous, they are made they are used in making the musical instrument like sitar is there, guitar is there. All of them are what? The strings are actually made up of a metal. You can take an example of a bell also, students, that bell produces sound when you struck it with a hard object. So this is another property of the metals, that they are generally show the property of a sonority or they are generally sonorous. Okay, so we can write here that metals are sonorous. Okay, this is another property of the metal. Next is the strength of the metals. Obviously, if the metallic bonding of the metals are quite large, strong, so they are having the also having the strength. So we can say here that due to metallic bonding or due to high metallic bonding, they are generally strong. So metals are strong because of high metallic bonding. It is because of high metallic bonding all the metals are generally having strong or generally having strength. Obviously, because of that, having high tensile strength make it to store or make it to take a large object. Like see student, bridges, the bridge or the construction work, the houses, they all are made up of a metal, and the reason that they can hold a large amount of a weight in it, and that is why we can say that they are having high tensile strength. Now the next one is the color. Generally all metals, they are having a kind of a color, they are of a different color. Like talking about the color of a gold, that is yellow in color. Silver, they are grey in color. Copper is there, which is reddish brown in color. Aluminium is there, which is also grey in color. So metals are generally they are colored, they are having the color in it. Okay, so these are some of the physical properties of the metal, including the melting point, boiling point, thermal conductivity, electrical conductivity, sonority, strength, hardness, malleability, ductility, and physical state in the room temperature. These all are what included into the physical properties of the metal, students. Before we understand the physical properties of the non-metal, let us continue with the metal itself and try to understand the other property of the metal, that is called as the chemical property. Okay, so let us try to understand the next one, which is the chemical property. What is there in the chemical property? So we will see that what kind of a reaction will be shown by them when it reacts with oxygen, when it reacts with water, what kind of a product will be formed when the metal reacts with the different substances. So the first one is the reaction with the oxygen. So let us see that what will happen when the metal react with oxygen. Generally, metals, they react with the oxygen at a different temperature to form the oxide. Okay, so there are metals which are very reactive, there are metals which are not reactive. So we can say here a common reaction in which we can find that metal when react with the oxygen, it will forms metal oxide. Obviously all of them metal oxide, but it totally depend upon the reactivity of the metal. There are metals which are very reactive, so they vigorously react with the oxygen, while there are in which we have to provide heat. It means we have to burn it in order to form their oxide. So reactive metal like that of the sodium or potassium. Okay, so very reactive metal like that of a sodium is there. When sodium react with the oxygen, Na plus O2, this will form sodium oxide, which is Na2O. While the same thing happened with the oxygen also. The state of the sodium oxide is solid, oxygen is in the gas, and sodium we have taken it in the metal form. So it is also in the solid form, student. Now when we balance it, sodium will be 2, and in order to balance the oxygen, we will write here 2, and now the sodium will become 4, so we will write 4 here to balance the reaction. Okay, so sodium oxide is formed when sodium react with the oxygen. Now let us see the another one, the other very reactive metal, which is potassium. When the potassium react with the oxygen, it will also form potassium oxide, which is represented by K2O, and this will be equals to okay. So this is the reaction in which we have seen that what happened when a very reactive metal react with the oxygen. Okay, now let us move on, and we will see that there are some of the metal which do not react with oxygen at room temperature, but it does not react with the oxygen at a room temperature, but we have to provide heat to it. When we burn it, then it will produces dazzling flame. It will burn with a dazzling flame. It produces a lot of a lighting. Okay, so reaction with the magnesium. So same here, it will be oxide only, it will form the metal oxide only, students. So oxygen. So we can write here what happened when the magnesium react with oxygen. Mg react with oxygen, it will react with the dazzling white light, and that is called as a magnesium oxide, student. Okay, MgO. So when you will balance it, it will be 2Mg plus O2, that will give a 2MgO. This is also in the solid form. Similarly, aluminium also, when we react it with oxygen in the presence of a heat, This aluminium will form an aluminium oxide represented by Al2O3. So balancing this, it will become 4Al plus O2. Aluminium is in the solid form and this aluminum oxide is also in the solid form. So when we heat it, provide heat to it, then it will produces the aluminium oxide. Okay, so this is another kind of a metal reacting with it to form the oxide.